With Secretary Moniz multiple times. I've met with him multiple times. And the ability for them to continue to say this and think that that they can just walk away the next day and it not mean anything is wrong. And I want to thank the Attorney General for once again joining in another fight for South Carolina, as well as for the Aiken delegation who are standing uniformly and strongly behind us to say that we are going to protect the people of Savannah Riverside, but we're going to protect the people of South Carolina. Enough is enough. And what we're going to say is we're going to fight, we're going to be loud, we're going to kick hard, and we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that D.C. hears us. Thank you, and now I'm going to turn it over to Attorney General Wilson.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you. As the Governor just said, this is not the first time that this has happened. Over the past few years, our office has dealt with a similar issue involving Yucca Mountain. In that case, the federal government, under agreement with the states, collected billions of dollars for nuclear waste disposal, and with the unilateral stroke of a pen, the federal government effectively said, you keep your nuclear waste, we'll keep your money. In that case, this office, the Attorney General's office, brought a lawsuit which resulted in the Federal Court of Appeals ruling that the administration flouted the law. Today, the administration is flouting the law once again in a similar fashion. The MOX facility was created by Congress because Congress believed that there needed to be a safe, efficient way to reduce the threat of nuclear weapons proliferation through disposition of surplus plutonium. Congress passed a law. They appropriated money for this purpose. The Department of Energy and the National Nuclear Security Administration entered into an agreement with the state of South Carolina to construct and operate the MOX facility so to prevent South Carolina from becoming a nuclear waste dumping ground. The President asked for money originally designated as construction money by Congress to now be used as close-up money for the MOX facility. This action effectively places the MOX facility in cold standby, thus rendering it terminated. Through the unilateral indefinite suspension of the MOX facility without any plutonium disposal alternative, without any congressional authorization or approval, and without any authority of law, the federal government has failed to not only honor its commitment to South Carolina, but has breached its obligation to responsibly address the disposal of surplus plutonium. Further, this violation of the Constitution not only effectively terminates the MOX facility, it terminates approximately 1,800 jobs of South Carolina's hardworking citizens. This is why earlier today I filed a complaint in federal court on behalf of the state of South Carolina seeking to halt this illegal and unconstitutional act. Our complaint asserts that the administration's misuse of federal funds violates the fundamental tenet of the separation of powers and explicitly violates a federal statute prohibiting executive agencies from spending funds for purposes unauthorized by Congress. Finally, I would like to thank the federal delegation, Dad, Senator Graham, Senator Scott, and others. I would like to thank the local delegation standing beside me and behind the governor. And I'd also like to thank the governor for y'all's steadfast support of our office and your rapid response to this very important issue. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, General Wilson. Now we'll turn it over to Congressman Wilson.
Thank you very much, Governor. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm particularly honored to be here. I want to thank the governor for her leadership, standing up for the people of South Carolina. Obviously, I have a firsthand knowledge of the Attorney General. I know of his competence, I know of his vision, I know of his integrity, and I'm delighted that he is taking a lead with the lawsuit to truly implement what should be done, and that is the completion of the mixed oxide fuel fabrication facility at the Savannah River site. This is an important asset for our national security. I was very grateful in working with the other members of the delegation, Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator Tim Scott, adjacent members, Congressman Jeff Duncan, Congressman Jim Clyburn. We were able to get the funding for MOX in place. Now the administration is coming in and blocking the funding and is creating, I think, a real national security issue for the American people. I was very happy last Wednesday at the Foreign Affairs Committee to bring to the attention of Secretary of State John Kerry how important this is in regard to nuclear non-proliferation. We have an agreement with the Russian Federation to process the weapons-grade plutonium. By breaking that agreement, it would have to be renegotiated. This is not a good time for us to be renegotiating with the Russian government that we see is conducting acts of aggression in the Republic of Georgia and the country of Ukraine. this is, we can see that it's really important, as the governor pointed out, that we should be promoting in Russia, around the world, rule of law. And so I'm really hopeful, and in fact, the Secretary of State indicated that he would be looking into this because it's so important. Additionally, we're talking about environmental cleanup. By not processing the weapons-grade plutonium, it puts the environment of the people of South Carolina, our sister state of Georgia, at risk. This doesn't need to be done. The technology is there. The plant is 61% completed. And so I really hope that the lawsuit is successful and we can look forward to completing the MOX project, 1,800 jobs. I'm also very grateful that this has been really a team effort. And as the Attorney General referenced about Yucca Mountain, that was actually initiated by the County Council, Ronnie Young, Chairman, and others, who made such a difference. And now we have the leadership of the local delegation. And so I'm just grateful to be here and want to introduce the Chairman of the Aiken Legislative Delegation, Roland Smith, from Warrenville, South Carolina. We're very proud of his service. This is the Chairman's last year in office, and he's going to make a difference by standing up again for the people of Aiken County.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of the entire Aiken County Legislative Delegation to say we're here to stand with this group, that we need MOX up and operating because we in Aiken County and the surrounding counties were promised that this material would come in, but it would go out. It would be reprocessed and move out. Folks, it's here. It's on the siting in Aiken County, in Barnwell County, and Allendale County. And now it's time for us to continue the effort to move this material, process it, and get it out of South Carolina, because our people have been very supportive of the government of the United States of America and the safety of this nation. But now it's time that they recognize and realize and stand by what they promised us, that this material would not remain in Aiken County and at the Savannah River site, but it would go out of here. And so we call upon the government, the United States government, to reverse that decision. Congress needs to reverse that decision now. They need to go back to Washington and undo what the president has done on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. The Attorney General had to go on to another meeting, but the rest of us are here and happy to open it up for any questions that you may have. And if not,
Sammy?
what would be the cost to shut down the facility? We can get you that information. I'm not sure. Yes. I mean, that's not a fair argument. What you have to understand is this was a promise made to the people of South Carolina. This was an investment made to the people of South Carolina. This was a law passed for the people of South Carolina. They can't, just because they feel like it, stop all that. And that's the difference, is we went into an agreement with D.C. What this means is agreements in D.C. don't matter. What this means is that just because the Obama administration decides that maybe this wasn't a good idea, you can't leave the people of South Carolina hanging like that. You can't do it today, you can't do it tomorrow, and we're always going to fight that. So this is very different than any other federal funds. What this does more is remind me exactly why we do as little with D.C. as possible.
Governor, how do you answer the government's assertion that this project is viable, economically viable?
I mean, if they were going to say that MOX wasn't economically viable, maybe they should have decided that before this started. Maybe Congress wouldn't have passed it if they didn't think it was true. Maybe money wouldn't have been put forward to it. You've got millions of dollars that have been invested into this facility, and suddenly you're going to say, oh, never mind, we didn't mean it. Oh, never mind, it was a bad idea. You can't do that when it affects lives of people. You can't do that when it affects a state and the functions that we have. We function perfectly well without D.C. What they are proving to us time and time again is that any promise made by D.C. is not a promise kept by D.C. Any commitment we get involved in with D.C. is not necessarily a commitment that works. But this is shocking. I mean, to watch what happened with Yucca Mountain and now watching what they're doing with us to MOX really is beyond any belief that a president and his administration can just stop following laws like this. It's completely wrong. It's completely wrong. It's not my job to decide whether it's too much. It's my job to say, you said you could do this. You got into